just to get too sloppy. Things I showed you, I can't try me. Ooh, after the daylight, it started in a hotel. Some ice cold drinks in this dark room. We went from a high school friendship to some post-scout actions. Saw some sweat fall off your face into the dance floor, babe. Dance on, babe. Sweat falls off my face in silence. Stand up, babe. Stand up. Stand up. It's nights like this we're wide awake. It's times like this you shy away from me, babe. Started in a hotel lobby, cleaned up just to get too sloppy. Things I showed you, I can't try me. After the daylight, it started in a hotel. It started in a hotel. this town with the speakers loud and the radio playing old Sublime that we stole online, every verse we know. And we hadn't had a clue if we'd make it by noon or even where we'd go. We don't need a map, everywhere is home. We don't need a map, everywhere. The tank said E and we all agree that we're just too broke to fill it back up, so we left your truck on the road with Rome. Then we found a motel with a cigarette smell, so we knew we're close. We don't need a map, everywhere is home. We don't need a map, everywhere is home. Is where I can find some peace of mind to make my own way. I don't know where I will end up, but I'll find it someday. Keep on searching, engine burning while we're turning it around. But don't get left behind on the road. 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 We play Tupac Sharak and we turn our music up when he raps about hope. We hold our thumbs high and hope someone is kind enough to give us all a ride. And we wouldn't have a clue if we'd make it back to or even where we'd go. But we don't need a map, everywhere is home. A Ford stopped on the street, said where you trying to be. We said we don't really care, we'll know it when we're there. We took on down the road, he flipped on his radio. Santeria started slow, so we knew that we were close. Home is where I can find some peace of mind to make my own way. I don't know where I will end up, but I'll find it someday. Keep on searching, engine burning while we're turning it around. But don't get left behind on the road. 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 Home is where I can find some peace of mind to make my own way. I don't know where I will end up, but I'll find it someday. Keep on searching, engine burning while we're turning it around. But don't get left behind on the road.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the NUEL PUBG Winter Series. This is game 3 in week 6. Kiel University have taken 2 out of 2 chicken dinners so far and racked up an immense 15 kills to subject themselves on top of the leaderboards and hopefully claim the #1 spot going into our playoffs next week. They are continuing to show why they are the #1 seed and the #1 team on the leaderboard. We're back to Miramar. It's game 3 and Crumsy 43 players are in the lobby again. Teams are going to know where they're going to go this time. So, would you change anything up?
I think just looking at the last game, every team seems to be doing it pretty well in terms of movement and positioning. We saw that early fight at the start between the two teams in the small positions. I'm not sure if you remember, right at the beginning of the game, we had this kind of awkward fighting between teams with absolutely no gear to their name. And so hopefully this game, one of those two teams will decide, okay, time to switch around. We'll drop somewhere else, and we'll be nice and kitted to actually get into the fights this time. And so looking at the plane drop, we're gonna have sort of the opposite plane position as we did last game, where this time it's right bang the middle of the map. It does disadvantage a little bit the southern side of the map, such as Porto Pereso and other of those kind of beach side areas. And we're gonna see one team going to military base, which is a zone that is very, very underlooted in Miramar. So it's gonna be interesting to see what this player does with his spawn.
Certainly so. So, all through 43 players will be dropping 11 teams in this matchup in game number 3, the last game before our playoffs, which start next week. And so we will see Neil and crew are going to be heading all the way down south. It's more or less an even split, but probably looks like we've got Atomical potentially go for Hacienda, or is this going to be a late drop?
It looks like there's going to be a late drop. The rest of his team is in St. Martin. St. Martin is going to be contested though, so it looks like Atomical is just going to be slowly running, making his way towards the rest of his team, leaving Hacienda del Patron to Team 21 here. And he's just going to pick up a small handgun just in case Team 21 decide to chase him as he's making his way out of here. But it looks like Team 21 are not going to. One of the players is going to be watching over. It looks like Lumina is going to be just checking if he can spot Atomical. But Atomical's using the clips really well here to kind of get out. And he's going to be joining the rest of his team to loot up in St. Martin. But they do have to be careful because Team 13 is at the other edge of this town. And it could be dangerous for them once they start moving in closer towards the center aspect of St. Martin, that they're going to be potentially getting in early game gunfights, as we said, with less gear. And this could be dangerous for them. And also Hacienda is going to be looted very, very quickly. And so Team 21 might add themselves to this fight very early on into this game.
Team 13 already losing one player. That's going to be one first blood in favor of Team 6. So it's 16 points already racked up in already less than 2 minutes with the game kicking off. Did see Team 11 grab a couple of vehicles then moving up north. They've already picked up 2 vehicles. But teams are, as we said before, evenly spread out. We've got a couple of teams in El Pot. We got San Martin with 2 teams on either side. So it's a last chance opportunity for teams to rack up points before we kick off next week. So I want to see how people's playstyles are going to be. Are Atomical and crew going to get even more, maybe a bit more aggressive, as shots are going to be coming in from Team 13 towards Team 6, but to no avail. Maybe tagged down twice, but no knockdown.
Now, briefly in the corner there, we just saw a player holding a VSS. I'd like to know, Osmar, what is your opinion on the VSS? Because I know for me, I love it. It's sneaky. It comes with a scope. It comes with a silencer. You can even spray close range with it. What are your thoughts about the VSS? Do you ever pick it up in games?
If it's early game, then yes. I like early start would be considerable for me, but when you get into like the mid to late game, I'd rather switch out for like a traditional sniper rifle, the SKS, the Kar 98, etc. But for early advantage is really good because you get the free scope, it's a silenced gun, and yeah, as you're talking about, you can spray in front of it. As Atomical will be picking up another kill, that's going to be Bogey going down. 2 players already gone from Team 13. It's not looking a great start for them so far.
The 2 other players seem to be wanting to push in to kind of capitalize on the situation that they had here. Now, this is a bit of an alluring situation for Team 13 because it looks like they're gonna get, as I say this, I was gonna say they're gonna have to hold these positions as Team 6 are gonna be wanting to push in, but Atomical, being the great aimer that he is, just takes them both down and just carries on the legacy for Team 6 as they take control of St. Martin.
Certainly so. It's Team 13 already disappearing from the map as well. First team eliminated. First 4 kills actually going. Well, first 4 deaths, in fact. Team 6 are going to have the whole of San Martin now to loot. A couple of players hanging around by Power Grid, all spread out. Team 25 just soloing them, essentially themselves, trying to get as much loot as possible. But it is early game, so phase 1, we did see where the circle was, more towards the near center line, as we are more with somewhat's going to be running across the desert, just checking out these small shacks, seeing if we can find maybe some first aids or even some scopes in this as possible.
It's always worth, in my opinion, going through each of these little buildings that you might cross because you never know what could be hiding inside, and that little scope or that extra first aid that could be in that little shack while you're wandering through takes you an extra 10 seconds to check. Just open the door, have a quick look, and if there's something in there, it could make the complete difference for a fight later on in the game. And I think it's beautiful to see all these players kind of making their movement quite early into the zone. I think a lot of the teams learned last game that making kind of delaying their movement into the zone cost them the game completely. So now they're making the wise decision of saying, okay, we're going to stop looting early and loot on our way as we're making it to the zone. So they're not going directly, they're not grabbing vehicles and sprinting straight into the middle of the zone, but they are adapting their looting system to enter the zone, and it makes it slightly more compelling for them to actually get items, but at the same time get placement. And it's, in my opinion, the best of both worlds in this situation.
Nice. So we're on board with Magical Farts with bike in hand. Seeing if we can trying to park the bike, it seems. Tempting on the second attempt. 30 seconds remaining before the first circle will start to close in as we are on board. We do see Team 2, that's going to be Deathblade's crew. Came 6th in the last game. See if they can improve much further. Has the M4 couple utility on him. Even the med kit actually managed to pick up an SKS. And he has my favorite gun, the M4, are available. But it's okay. The early game once again with so little players. It's a case of get your best loot. Even if you're spread out, a lot of teams seem to be doing 2-2 splits in this game, but they'll send one team up high or in the middle of a town and send them to a destination. You see about Team 21, you've got one in the middle of the map and then one a little bit further up. So playing like almost a trade game. So one falls, one's there to back them up. But zone number 1 starting to, or phase 1 starting to come into it, and we see Greenie's side right in the middle of the first circle. So they're going to be prime position and they're going to be quite happy with this.
Speaking of this 2-2 split that we see a lot in the teams, there's a, in my opinion, and when you look at a lot of the professional scene in PUBG, there are 2 sort of separate and distinct strategies that team undertake. The first one being, as you said, this 2-2 split, take control of different areas, and also if you encounter, if one of the players encounters a fight, he has this teammate to back him up. But another thing that we see a lot is a 3-1 split, where a player will be nominated as a scout and be sent to scout potential compounds to be in, or simply move earlier than the rest of the team. And usually the scout will be this player that is the highest skilled solo player there, so that if he encounters another team, he is the one that they entrust to make his way either out of there, and he has that info to then relay onto the rest of the team. What do you think of this kind of strategy of separating a member from the team to make him scout ahead? And it does put him in this dangerous position. What is your opinion about this, Osam?
It's a very interesting strategy. Like you're playing a 3-1. So you got your core 3 that always stick together. You got the scout as you were talking about, but it's also very difficult. That scout has to be very careful of where he positions himself and where he's going. When I've seen people playing like dream hacks, the pro ladders, etc. If they're in the vehicle and they've got all 4 players shooting at this one scout guy, it's probably about 80 to 90% of the time that guy is going to die. And then you've lost one player, and even more worse, you've lost your scout. Your whole strategy almost goes out the window and you have to rethink what you're going to do.
Yeah, I do completely agree with you, actually. I think it's it kind of entirely depends on how much trust you have in this player that you're sending by himself, how skilled this guy is. And I think a lot of these teams, they do decide to take this scout system on, and it works out for them because one of the biggest aspects of PUBG is placement, where your team is and what that position has in terms of other teams. And so sending a scout can lead to simply having info on a compound that might not be taken. And also in a situation where he would encounter another team, if he gets taken down, that's only one member of your team down. Whereas if you have a 2-2 split and that one of the pairs encounters another team and they both get taken down, you then get left in a 2-on-4 situation. And so I think it's kind of engaging to push with these scouts simply to have that info and that kind of safety of not splitting your team too much. But it's a strategy that teams have to capitalize on if they do decide to do it. So I think that's why we see a lot of these teams that maybe don't have as much experience playing on Miramar as some of the professional players play as a 4-man team and decide to play this as a complete squad.
Certainly so. It's Plex very lucky to get away there. Fortunately, Snipes the Wookiee didn't have a gun out. I think he had a prime or a great opportunity to take Plex out of the vehicle, but he's managed. He will be able to get away. He had the grenade in hand. Not really too much. So teams will start to rotate into the second, or as the second circle will be coming in. Just over a minute's time, we are on board with Connor. He has got the SLR, a couple of grenades and bandages and first aids in the little buggy. And he's going to be making his way more north. I think as well, they've Team 25 has sort of done what you've said. They've sent one player through, so they know that compound is completely optimal or taken by Team 2. So they're going to back away from there. They're going to have to rethink their strategy.
I think it was a very risky move because scouting is fine when you're scouting little compounds, little groups of houses. However, sending a guy by himself straight through Picado is almost a suicide mission because, I mean, what are the odds that a team is not in Picado with his center map? Teams are always dropping there, and there could actually be more than one team. So I think it was a very, very dangerous play by them, and it's very, very lucky that they made it out alive. So now they've got kind of this good position where they can take shots on this Team 2 because Team 2 is not in the zone anymore. But Team 25 are now completely separated, and it leaves them in this intriguing position where their other pair is blocked behind another set of teams, and it looks like it's unlikely for them to be able to join back with their other members right now. So they might have to wait for the next zone to try and make a move for a certain compound and meet back up as a team. But this could be dangerous, being so split up, so far away from each other right here.
Oh, quick energy drink pop by Young as he's gonna decide to drive away across the desert fields right now. Hoping he doesn't flip the car himself. But where is Team 11? Team 11 are in Los Leones right now. 2-time chicken dinner winners so far from Yale University. They are trying to get this last chicken dinner, make it 3 in a row, and maybe get that huge confidence boost going into our playoffs next week. We are on board with Team 17. Just got not the greatest of loot so far. The UMP with 2-time scope. 2 grenades, 2 smokes, and then a lot of bandages. 31, in fact, on the side of Mob. I don't think I've ever carried that much even in game, but they are in the blue right now, so they are being forced to use these. But not really too much action going on right now, Clumsy. Teams are just deciding to rotate into the next zone.
Yeah, teams are really deciding not to take too many fights here. They know the risk that it can be of taking fights this early. They're not necessarily too attracted by the 16 points that they get from a kill. Their head, their mind, their focus right now is on the placement. So they're just trying to get to safety, meet up with the rest of their members in case they had a situation where they would be split up. And so now they're just trying to get into the zone, avoid any kind of fighting possible, while these confident teams such as Team 14 are going to be taking fights. And the aim of the other teams right here is just to escape them and get to safety and hold their position.
So we're on board with Fatal Slug right now. Has the Kar 98 with a silencer in hand in the vehicle as the Team 14, they will start to disperse and disappear, going through the deserty fields, as they will be pushing it towards Picardo. I don't think anyone's actually... I don't know if players are still holding from earlier in Picardo right now, as you were talking about earlier, going down the right in the middle, which I'm actually can confirm there is no one in here right now, so that is a great time. Team 14 free option, just be able to drive through, as teams will be rotating. As I was saying that, kills are going back and forth. Topical manages to find one, but gets taken out. Shotgun actually in hand, as a Team 6 will be getting that. Snipes the Wookiees, managing to find 2 kills, and Team 6 is it's sort of becoming a disaster when the rotation hasn't come on point. It's just, I think, down to 1 player, and as Angelical, Team 6, and they know the position. This could be a disaster early on for Team 6.
Angelical, though, he is confident in these kind of situations. He has the kind of game sense to play around this team. He knows he doesn't have the advantage, but he'll just gonna quickly get away, maybe try to get a different angle, so they won't expect this, and he could actually have a situation where he's able to take at least one of them down when he slightly moves out, takes a different angle, and then surprises them completely out of the blue while he's flanking. And so now we're seeing again, as we see, which is the famous Miramar long-range sniper fights across the dunes, and already teams are starting to fight. They're starting to group up, as we saw last game. Hopefully, we see a little bit more spread, as there's more different kind of towns than in the last game. When last, it was really all about this hill, right? And now we have Graveyard, we have Minas, we have all the northern side. And I think it's going to be really interesting to see whether these teams decide to push into the towns, or if we're going to have another kind of cowboy hill fight once again.
So Smokes will be going down, trying to get magical files back up. Smoke deployed, as Young will be trying to go this. I don't think a Smoke actually connected right, as Deathblade will actually be taken down by Reed. He's going to fall as well. He's been quite on fire with the sniper rifle so far. Grenade popped. If it will hit anyone, Plex, maybe going for a bit of hope. Just supposed to spot players down there. As he actually has kind of will actually mind one. That's going to be Mob getting knocked down. Team 17 are stuck in this little shack right now. I'm not sure they're going to be able to get away with this. They are playing the 2-2 split, waiting for their teammates to push up. But they are all outside the zone right now. With only 35 seconds remaining, so they have to get a move on very shortly. And they are seeing so many players right now.
It's a bit of a risky play here by Team 25. They do have quite a significant trajectory to the next circle. They're deciding to take these fights. However, it might actually be wiser just let them all fight within each other and separate yourself from this action that's going on and push into the zone. But we're going to see Team 14 going to be Fatal Slug going to be taking down 2 players there. There's still 2 members alive from Team 17, but that's easy to confirm by Fatal Slug, unless Ukulele is able to push, or if he has a vision. I'm not 100% sure here, but it looks like it's going to be a confirm here. And yes, a confirm by Fatal Slug. And so now Team 14, they have to make the decision to loot quickly and extract, because this blue zone has just started moving, and now all the teams are going to be making their way to this new circle.
So let's go through the scenario from last game again, when NUEL University were essentially the whole game, they didn't fight a single team, and once again they're rotating towards it. They're already in the zone, they're prepared, only 10 teams remaining, 30 players alive. They're not getting into these engagements, but just more or less making the late game more favourable to them when they got the full 4-man stack. It seems to be happening again right now, with only two or three major teams who are in the next circle, and this is going to be quite disastrous. As we can see, Team 1 now popping some shots right now, but we are on board with the Jester. He surely must be hearing this player right now in front of him.
He is alone, though. Jester is very far away from the rest of his teammates. So if he decides to take the shots here, he might be able to confirm it. He's actually not being able to take down the kill. He's going to be able to get a reload, and Zachary is very, very low. So Zachary looks like he's going to be able to get the kill off, but if Jester pushes him here, might get the finish. Jester does get the finish, but Jester is all alone. So if Team 1 decides to come and help Zachary here, Jester will not be able to capitalize on all 4. And just as I say that, Jester does get taken down, and that is unfortunately a risky play by Jester, separating himself. He does secure an extra 16 points, but the rest of his team are now a man down, and so it could be troublesome for them in the later stages of this game.
Hold on, let me point out, this is actually Team 11 who got that confirmed kill. They're finally getting into the action themselves, as we do see a team knockdown coming in late in the game. Team 17, that is not what you want to see out of them. As we are with Niels, has once again the M24s and the Car 98s available to him. Vanilla, 6x scope. They will be able to play this long range, and they are in quite a prime position. They have got a couple of compounds available to them again. It will depend on this next circle. Circle will be coming in 45 seconds time, as him and Robs and Lily are going to be knocked out with the blue zone. Seen a lot of teams tonight have been caught out by this blue zone.
It's intriguing, isn't it? It's what I was saying about this kind of decision that teams have to make with their timing on when they're going to decide to move. And I think a lot of teams are focusing a lot on kills, and unfortunately that is leading them to be late on the timers with the new movement. And they're being caught out by this blue zone, taking a lot of damage, and a lot of players knocked by the blue zone will not be able to get revived by their teammates. And is it just me, or is there a player all the way up on this little construction thing here with perfect vision onto Reed?
Yeah, I'm quite surprised Reed did not spot the players. Bucko, it's a interesting position, as the grenade, I think, might be getting popped. Bucko's debating about his Greeny will actually take out Reed, and they've actually stuck with the VSS from all the way from the start of the game, which is very surprising to me. And 20 bullets in there, it can be quite dangerous up close, but far away. I don't see you winning too many gunfights against the likes of an SKS. As we are ball with Dan Bridges, Team 21, and this is where the major fights will start to begin. Who can get up to the high ground very quickly, as Chaz, he will take a couple of shots, knock the teammate down to half, but not being able to fully connect.
I think just quickly coming back to the VSS, there's one thing that I love about the VSS is the fact that it takes 9mm ammo, which means that you can take a lot more of that ammo because 9mm takes a lot less space than 4.5 and 7.6. So it allows you to have a much wider set of bullets and perhaps do a lot more pre-firing against the map that players might not have the opportunity to do so with AKs and other rifles that would consume so much more bullets that they have a lesser supply of. But here we're seeing again, as we did last game, all the teams slowly making it into the zone, having to fight on these edges of the hills. And Team 14 still surviving. They had a tough start earlier, and they were stuck in the zone, spam healing, as people call it. And he's just going to be trying to get as many kills as possible, but he's going to be taken down by Chaz here, and they're going to be able, Team 21 are going to be able to get the revive on somewhat after this team fight against Magical Farts.
Yeah, 2 players remaining now for Team 25. Well, there was 3. Youngs is going to go down. Yates manages to confirm that kill. So Magical Farts right now. No kills to his name right now, and not really too much utility remaining. He only got bandages, so he's sort of relying on a kill right now just to get any first aid equipment available to him. And in the meantime, look at the one player, number 6. That's Angelical from earlier, whose team almost got fully wiped out, but managed to escape and just playing the long waiting game. We're in phase 4 right now, so the circle will take a bit of damage. Okay, so hide behind the rock. See what you can do. Somewhat going to be trying to push up much higher in the hill, as Magical Farts might be able to hear these footsteps coming in, but with only 3 bandages and only the scar, really can't really afford to maybe take this gunfight.
I think it's very captivating to see how the evolution of Team 6, so Stormzy, Storm Red, who are currently, I believe, in 3rd place. Correct me if I'm wrong.
I believe they are still in 3rd place. Yes.
So it's very interesting to see their evolution as they go around with the amount of players that are left in their team. It is usually a team that is very, very aggressive and likes to take team fights. However, as soon as there is only 1 player left, we see that their objective and mentality change completely to a fully survival focused mentality. And so we had this last game as well, where a member from Team 6 from Stormzy, Storm Red managed to last up until I think there was about 8 teams left, and he was just camping behind a little rock and waited until there were only 2 teams left and scored that many extra points. So it's funny, it's intriguing to see a team that is usually so aggressive adapt its team personality almost depending on the situation that they're in. And I think that's a very, very good team practice to have. And I think a lot of teams should look at doing that as well for future games, especially within the playoffs.
Certainly so. It's just Unity remaining now for Team 10. He is getting sprayed down quite heavily as Vanilla will be coming around the back. Doesn't actually manage to confirm the kill. Unity just barely surviving. 5 health in his name. Should be able to get this first aid kit available to him, which he does. He does have the sniper rifle as well. So 2 players already down from Team 11. They are trying to chase this chicken dinner for the 3rd time in 3 games. As the nade just bounces over the rock. And that is him going down. What a grenade. As Team 6 will be eliminated. And even so, Vanilla is going to be rescued. So the team not even losing a casualty. But what a grenade from Epoch.
I was almost worried for Team 11. We're kind of rooting for them. We want them to get that 3rd chicken dinner in a row, but at the same time, we want to see the other teams compete for that chicken dinner position. And it was almost worrying for them being in that position where 2 of their players were knocked, but they managed to capitalize on it, secure the kill, and get both reses off. And they're now again in that position that you keep talking about, that situation where there's no one around them. All the other teams are fighting, and they're simply alone. And they can position themselves as they want. They have complete freedom over this. And then they can simply swoop in when the time is right, kill everybody who's left, and get that 3rd chicken dinner. And I think that's what the team here is planning on doing.
I think it's a little bit more difficult this time as we do see them in our mini-map in the bottom right corner. And they're going to have to start pushing further towards the circle as Magical Farts will manage to land a headshot onto somewhat. So he's going to go down. 2 different teams, I think 2 different teams are actually in this compound right now as Team 21 are going to be pushing out. There's Dan Bridges and crew trying to potentially get the last 2 or the last 3 players in this compound actually. Is you can see Lucan is going to be sitting on the mountainside with 2 players already sitting in the buildings itself. Meanwhile, as we're talking about, yes, Team 11, they're going to be making their more north. So 6 teams remaining, 16 players remaining, and Team 11, next circle will be coming in a minute's time. It's just who's going to make the next move. Team 25 are trying to take a couple of shots right now as Lucan, as I was talking about earlier, sitting in towards the higher ground, the mountain area. He's almost dead center in the middle of the circle, which can be advantageous for you, or it could be a complete disaster later on.
Now, poor Paul Collins here. He cannot make a single step because the team doesn't necessarily know he's there, and he doesn't have any teammates to help him in a situation where he would get attacked. So he has to stay in this corner, not make a single move. And now the team know he's there. He manages to get the kill on Chaz, manages to get the confirm. So now it's down to him to try to survive as long as possible. Well, the rest of his teammates are actually getting attacked by Team 11, and Paul Collins is going to be taken down by Dan Bridges here. So Team 21, don't take too hard of a loss. But Yuki is also very, very close, and he does have vision over Paul here. So if someone does try to come take the confirm, this could be the end of Team 21.
It could be so. And look at the rotation coming from the side of Eel, as they already taken they've taken the high ground once again. 4 players alive with only 12 remaining. It's looking almost like a 3rd dinner for them, and they should. Do they see Plex in the background? They might do. They're going to pick up the utility here. It's a couple of smokes, a couple of grenades picked up there.
I think they have the info that there's nobody on their north side, which is why I think they're deciding to play a little more aggressive than they have in the past 2 games and slightly push up on the teams, because by eliminating this ground, they can sort of minimize the areas that they have to be watching. And so they do have to be careful though with this Team 7 that could end up flanking all the way through the north and the east side. But they're deciding, okay, we've had 2 chicken dinners in a row. We're confident now. Maybe it's time to be a bit more aggressive, go for some more kills. And hopefully we're going to see some nice action going on here around these little compounds on the west side of the map.
Oh, most of the kills done by Team 11 tonight have been confirmed kills. They've not really knocked the player down the left, and they made sure they got the kills, made sure they got the extra points. But phase 6, this blue zone is going to be very, very dangerous right now. And we've got 4 players remaining still on the side of Team 11, 3 on the side of Team 21. It's just a case of who's going to make the next move, or who's going to be spotted first. I also like what Team 7 are doing as well in the background. If you look towards the north, side, they're just chilling out. They're doing sort of what Team 11 did in the last game. They're chilling out. They're making sure everyone else has a fight. And then hopefully later on, they might be able to pick up the bones or the pieces.
Exactly, and to kind of evolve a little bit on what I was talking just now about Team 11, another reason for them to be pushing out and getting more control is that they have more positions that are likely to be inside of this next zone. Now, I think that seeing this next zone pop, the smiles on Team 11 must have been insane because almost every single one of their players is inside their zone and they've got west control, they've got east control, they've got south control. And so the only place that they need to be careful of is people pushing into this zone. So it puts them again in an amazing position and to take this third chicken dinner. And now it's time to see how these teams are going to push up onto this hill and whether they're going to be able to take a Team 11 down and stop them in their reign of tonight.
Well, Kiel University trying to make it 3 from 3 right now. They do see the players. The M24 does manage to get the body shot onto Team 21. Not actually going to be confirming a knockdown though so far. But yeah, as you were talking about, Kiel University do have the one of the best scenarios. The circle is in their favor right now as Magical Farts is going to get taken out by Born Eagle. Team 2 right now as Vanilla, CS, and Crew trying to get some shots right there. And as I say that, Team 2 gets eliminated. Great use of the Car 98 to spot the player. Born Eagle, too many angles to try and cover my friend as Pock will find another one. And it's the high ground. It's just the high ground that's helping them overall. They can see everything that's going on, the rotations. And team is just essentially down to Team 21 and Team 7. But they are both going to have to push. And the circle's already making its move. This is almost looking like a third chicken dinner.
At this point, I want to say it's almost a secure third chicken dinner when you look at their position, you look at the vision that they have over these other teams. So I think we have to expect some godly plays from Team 7 or this last member from Team 21 to be able to stop them in their reign. However, this is really not looking good as Niels take out one of the members from Team 7, Danny Dello, and Yates doesn't look like he's going to be able to get the revive. Team 11 are saying, okay, we want this to end now. They're pushing down on Team 7. It's the last team now to stop them from their chicken dinner. Confirm the kill, and now it's just 4-on-1 situation as we've seen in every single game so far.
So it looks like it's going to be 3 for 3. As we are just confirming the last kill. Winner, chicken dinner. Kiel University will pick up 3 out of 3 chicken dinners tonight. And I do believe that was 12 kills for them. So 27 kills actually out of these 3 games for Kiel University side. Niels, Epoch, Omnitoaster, and Vanilla CS. So lots of points put on the board for them and extending their lead in the NUEL PUBG Winter Series. But that's going to do it from us for today. Grumsy, any last thoughts?
I think it's just very interesting to see all these teams play on these different maps, how different teams have different strategies. And I look forward to seeing throughout the next couple of weeks how teams are going to look back at these VODs and adapt their playstyles to fight teams like Kiel and the Swansea Storm Red, who are very, very confident teams coming into these playoffs. And I wish you all a good night, and we will catch you next week for some more PUBG.